Hey team, welcome back to another episode of the Strength Game Podcast. I'm your host, Nick O'Brien, and this is episode number 155. The Strength Game is the weekly podcast dedicated to discussing all things physical culture with the coaches, athletes, iron enthusiasts, and experts deeply embedded in the strength game on both sides of the profession, both as coaches and as competitive athletes. I want to thank everyone who has liked, shared, commented, um, all your support, subscribing to the show, leaving reviews, letting us know who would be great guests to have on in the future. All that support, all that feedback allows us to continue to bring on expert guests and highlight more individuals in the strength game, just like our guests today. Also want to take this time to thank our sponsors. Samson Equipment has providing uncompromising quality for over 40 years. Samson products are long-lasting and made of the highest quality equipment on the market. Each project is built from the ground up with the ability to customize every need, and the team at Samson focuses on developing the highest quality relationships with their customers, in addition to providing them unparalleled quality in every piece of equipment bearing the Samson name. Learn more about Samson's professional weight room solutions and the Samson standard at samsonequipment.com. Also want to thank our sponsor, Cerberus Strength. Cerberus is truly an organization that puts the athlete first and actively works towards providing the best quality gear at an affordable price. Owned and operated by active lifters, Cerberus has quickly evolved into a global brand symbolizing quality and trust. If you're in the market for the highest quality strength and conditioning gear and strongman equipment, be sure to check out CerberusStrength.com and use promo code STRENGTH_game to receive an extra 10% off your next order. Also want to thank our sponsor, Sport Kilt. Born in Scotland and stitched in America, Sport Kilt offers the highest quality custom kilts and accessories. Every Sport Kilt is made in the USA of machine washable polyester blend fabric, offering an alternative to the traditional heavy wool kilt. Check out the No Pants All Glory selection of kilts and shop the best collection of high-quality American-made sport kilts and accessories at sportkilt.com. Be sure to use our promo code TSG to receive an extra 10% off your next order. And in this week's episode, I am joined by Aaron Potoshnik. Aaron is a strength and conditioning and nutrition coach working in corporate wellness in the tech industry. Potoshnik stepped into remote coaching and the private sector in 2023 following a long stint in collegiate athletics. Also with his own business and Alpha Performance, Potoshnik works one-on-one online to help individuals create a lifestyle to transform their bodies and find strength in their own skin with individualized strength and nutrition coaching and programming. Prior to his current role, he was the director of football athletic performance at San Jose State University from 2021 to 2023 after being promoted from lead assistant with the Spartans in 2019 to 2020. He arrived at San Jose State after 2 years as the assistant director of strength and conditioning at Northwestern State University, working with multiple teams in addition to football. Potoshnik started his career as an intern coach at his alma mater, Washington State University in 2014, where he also spent time as an exercise physiology and performance laboratory research assistant in 2015. Additionally, he served as an intern coach at the University of Washington in 2016 before accepting a graduate assistant coach role at Northwestern State University from 2016 to 2017. Potoshnik is no stranger to competitive athletics himself, as an avid lifter, enjoying getting outside in nature to hike during his spare time away from the weight room. He's competed in Olympic weightlifting for 8 years before stepping into powerlifting and now training and competed in bodybuilding and physique shows. Like I said, I'm excited to have him on the show today. So with all that said, let's get in the game with Coach Aaron Potoshnik. What's going on, everybody? I'm excited today. On this nice weekend, we got Coach Aaron Potoshnik on the show. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, Nick. Thanks for having me on, man. I mean, happy Valentine's Day, happy Saturday to you, and thanks for doing this, setting everything up so you can just, share this knowledge and build a community with with everyone in the strength community.
No, I appreciate you coming on today. It's like I said before we started recording, it's kind of a long time in the making. We were pretty close neighbors in the Mountain West at your most previous job, like when you were still in collegiate
Mhm.
athletics, and when I was at Fresno State. So it's cool to kind of see how your experience was around there and kind of backtrack a little bit and see how you got started in the profession and everything. So I'm excited to join you on this Valentine's Day as well. So let's get this thing rolling, man. Let's kind of take it back a little bit though. How did you really start getting into strength and conditioning and more importantly like athletics and like training yourself? Because I think that's where most coaches really find their grasp and want to get into coaching. Like where was your sports kind of background initially started?
Yeah, I think it all started when I was a young kid. My mom was a physical therapy assistant, and I got to see her working and interacting with people. She'd bring me into her work, and I was like, "Oh wow, like this is cool." Then she passed away when I was 9, and then I was just a young boy, not knowing what to do. Everyone made fun of me because I was short. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna be stronger than you. And I just started going to this gym that was down the street from my high school when I was a freshman. And it was funny. I went there the other week and I see this chest press machine. I was like, no way. That is the exact same one I used 20 years ago. And I started like what all teenage boys know is just bench. And then there's some big powerlifting dude who just saw me like, hey, no, no, push-ups. Go to push-ups over there. I was like, oh, well, he's big and strong. I was listening to him, started doing push-ups and just same things like, no. Uh, Go hit the chest press over there. And I got real good at the chest press. I got real good at push-ups, real good at bench. I was hitting 225 by the end of my senior year, and I was like, oh wow, like I have confidence. This is cool. Like I can do these hard things and get better. And then went to college thinking I was going to be physical therapy. I did inpatient, outpatient. And I was like, I don't know if this is really for me. And then I found the strength conditioning program at WSU, and they had an internship. And I started working for, he was like my first mentor in the industry, David Lang, who passed away a few years ago. But he set me straight. Like I was a young, immature like boy at the time in college. Like most college men, they just don't know what they're doing. They're just drinking every day that ends in Y, and he just zipped me up real quick. And then kind of he helped me kick my own ass to realize what I was messing up on to get better. And then I got an internship in the exercise physiology lab, and then end up graduating from there. Worked at UW, was there for 6 months, full-time internship, worked under a lot of good strength coaches there, David Rack, Blair Wagner, Lauren McGuagan, and then took a GA position at Northwestern State in Louisiana. Didn't know anybody there, didn't know where I was going, just in the sticks in a very small, poor town. But I kind of got thrown in the fire, like, all right, you're here, like, here's your 5 teams. You're gonna go teach classes, have night classes, and do all this stuff. And I was like, oh, dang, like, there's a lot. Then the head guy, Dustin Chadwick, and the assistant, Zach Nielsen, who are also still close friends of mine, they both left. And I was a GA for 8 months. And they're like, all right, yeah, you got it. I was like, am I gonna try to be the head now? And I was like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. And I just kept doing everything in the summertime, not getting paid, working all the teams. And then they end up hiring another one of my buddies, Jared Myatt. And he ended up hiring me as the assistant because I was not ready to be the head guy, but I still wanted to try. But then he helped me be like he got me into my first assistant role. And then, me and him worked together for 2 years. I graduated. I was making like $18,000 a year, living in a two-person house with 4 people. Car broke down, couldn't afford to fix it. I was like, man, like these student loans, gotta pay them. And I was looking into Ranger School. Me and Jared were both looking into that, and then job came open at San Jose State where my buddy Jared Klingenberg was. He helped me get there. And then he ended up leaving, going to USC. But I was the assistant there, worked my way up to the lead assistant. And then so I was running the football team with all my other sports. And then my boss ended up retiring, and then I got the director role at San Jose State. So I was there for 4 years. Sometimes how college strength and conditioning works, you get hired, get fired. Uh, uh, that's just part of the business, and like didn't really get a reason why or how, and then started working at Cal for a little bit just to see if like, hey, am I still gonna work in this? Is this what I'm doing? And then I got offered a job at a tech company and I decided to make that move back home, and then also start my own business. And what I put into sports and helping athletes win at the highest level, I now put into just everyday people and helping them win in their health so then they can just win in their lives.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's definitely an interesting kind of transition out of it. I know we'll touch on a lot of that stuff, but I mean, even the collegiate side of the career too, like going through that is very similar to what a lot of people end up doing. But there's a couple cool topics on there that I wanted to touch on, like especially making that big move as a GA. I feel like I don't know, it's not everybody, but a lot of individual coaches like to look for GAs or like even internships. Not to say it's the worst thing, but like in a convenient area where like they already have help or they already have like someone like some sort of assistance because you're usually not making money or you're maybe going to go live at home so you can do something and balance kind of that finance. But you kind of took a risk and moved pretty much half, like all the way across the country to go somewhere you've never been and make dirt and then teams, teach classes, like take classes all at night. Where do you think that was kind of the best case option? Like, you think your career would have been a little bit different if you stayed like with more of a safety net? Or do you think it's like really beneficial for coaches to just like, hey, take that risk, especially early in your career, and like you said, trial by fire, just lay your cards on the table and go all in?
Yeah, yeah, thank you. That was a great question. I think that was the best thing I could have ever done for my development. I would not change a damn thing about it because it I was gonna stay at WS. I was gonna go back to WSU because they're like, hey, there's a GA position here, and you can just work men's golf, and that was kind of it. And I was like thinking about, it, and then like Dave was talking to me. He's like, hey, don't don't come back here, just don't. And he kind of forced me a little bit because I'm like, man, am I really gonna go to this place? And it's like, I'm not even getting a good stipend or anything like that, and uh, I had to pay back. I had a bunch of private loans, and so I'd take out more loans to go here. And then it was a small school, so I had tons of responsibilities early on. So if I could ever give any advice to any young coach, do not chase the logo, chase the responsibility. Like you want to go to a school where like, hey, you're gonna be overloaded. You have too many teams. You're gonna struggle. You're gonna have a lot of responsibilities. They were making me go train the ROTC at 4:30 a.m. when it was voluntary for them, mandatory for me, and I had night classes till 10:30. And then there were other sports admin GAs who were just like they didn't have to teach classes, didn't have to do that, and I'm just like, what is happening over here? And at that time, like I was very frustrated because I'm like, why am I doing so much more work than other people? But that gave me the ability to take on such a big role and take on a lot of responsibilities and be able to juggle everything like that. That really helped harden me. And I felt like, I was already, what, $70,000 in debt from going to university. And then I had to take out more loans. And it's like, imagine it was like 2007 and I put all my money in at the top. And then like the value of me was like negative $100,000. But then that kind of gave me the like, hey, I have to make this work. Like everything's riding on this. Like I have to believe in myself to get it done and it's gonna be okay. whether it's now, whether it's 4, 5, 10 years from now. Like as long as I don't stop believing in me and what I provide for people and how I can learn and how I can grow, it's gonna be worth it. So if I can tell any young strength coach, like ch chase the responsibility, like go get a lot of challenging teams. When you can assist with football, that helps a ton. You get to learn not only like the strength room, the strength training, but the field work, the conditioning aspect, the mental toughness, the culture, and all the sciences that have to go with that, and uh, basically the skill acquisition as well. Go work the field sports are amazing for any young strength coach, especially like soccer. Get to go work with like baseball a little bit too, really work on the sprint mechanics, the arm strength, arm care, bunch of mobility stuff. So go try and get a bunch of difficult teams to work with. Football, baseball, basketball, soccer. Not to say any other sport, volleyball, not to say any other sport is not as specific, but go get a team that has a lot of demands and it will help you grow and flourish as a coach.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. And like talk about like just betting on yourself. That's huge, especially early on. And like there's a lot of familiarity and comfort when it comes to like going back to a place you've already been. And I had that similar kind of offer, like leaving Georgetown as an intern and then going back to like my school, like in Salisbury. It was go there and kind of like start that weird kind of part-time-ish like
Yeah.
role and then like assist with the teams, like, oh, it's D1, but like I'll get like a couple small teams like sailing or golf. But I'll be around like really great coaches. So it was a hard decision. It wasn't necessarily yours where it's like, oh, here's everything, or I could go to a D1 school. Like it was enticing, but then it was, hey, go back to the school you were already an undergrad at and be a like get a GA. And I was given four teams, and they were big
Yeah.
teams. It was football, men's lacrosse, women's lacrosse, baseball,
Oh
and
yeah.
then the weight room is like I think it was 6 or 7 racks, and I think at the worst time of the season, but also the best, like when you were young, is I had four football groups, two men's lacrosse groups, one women's lacrosse group, and two baseball. So if I had everybody on like a Monday lift, that was already 10 hours of coaching.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, go to class. And then, yeah, the days end in Y. So, like, you might as well go see what's happening at the local drinking hole.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you can only burn the candle like at every single end for a couple years before you're like, you know what? We got to shift gears a little bit. But
Oh yeah.
no, that's great advice for anybody. Like the responsibility, and I used to look at that when it came to even hiring or bringing people on. Those small schools, they're trying to compare themselves to the larger schools, but resources, money, like all time, like all those things, they're really kind of harped on, and they don't have a lot of them. So you end up kind of absorbing a lot of those extra things, but if you can handle it, like it'll build you up really big and like hopefully it doesn't break you. And then you could take that on when you have bigger teams or maybe more eyes on and more exposure and be able to funnel all that stuff in because you're super adaptable, super versatile when it comes to the next career. You
What was
gotta go on.
oh, what was the most difficult thing you had to work through as like a young coach?
Um, I think that transition, like when I came back to my GA, I don't know if it was I wouldn't say it's like the same thing for everybody as a young coach, but for me, it was difficult because I ended up spending 6 years at the same school, even though like I think I did three different internships, like bounced around like during the summer or a whole semester away. It was a lot of my teammates, a lot of my friends, a lot of my roommates were still playing.
Oh, really?
So and some of them are older than me when I'm coaching them. Some of them are like friends, some of them are former teammates. So trying to figure out where to draw that line a little bit when it came to the weight room and kind of uh, not be like a disciplinarian in, but just like kind of be the expert and like understand that, hey, they know what they're doing, but like their role in this is to be the athlete and mine is to be the coach. So I'm not really the expert. I don't really know a lot of what I'm talking about, but in my position, I'm like kind of leading them in a way. So that
Yeah.
was difficult to kind of like really grasp that. And then obviously like time management was crucial and it was a pain because it's the same thing I do now. It's like I want to do so many things and there's only 24 hours in a day and you got to kind of pick and choose. And I'm trying to get better at saying no. Back then, just till the wheels fall off. But now I'm trying to be a little bit smarter and like keep the wheels like slightly on fire, but not ashes.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just shifting the that type of work. Like I think we both used to work like really hard and just like hard work will always do it. Hard work will always get us further, but it's like smarter work will get us further because like it's like the minimal effective dose. So it's like you can still like it's good to go through those things. I think we both like we moved away from home, moved away from family, sacrificed social life and everything. Our finances and then you know, just swan dive into the field, into the career, and just see how much you can learn. But then as you get older, it's like, oh, family is pretty important, and like raising a family is pretty important, and being able to prioritize your time for also yourself too, instead of just like whatever logo you got on your shirt or the colors that you bleed. That's the shift that a lot of coaches, I think, forget to make. And they just keep chasing. I was like, hey, one day you're gonna have to like think a little bit more strategically and prioritize different things and work a lot smarter instead of just always working harder.
Yeah, that shift is interesting. And I want to touch on that too. But like what you said, the harder work thing, I think a lot of coaches forget that and they just keep like trying to almost glorify that grind culture even later into their career. But at some point in time, you should be able to say no, your responsibilities should change, or they should shift a little bit. And you should have gotten better at what you're doing that you can actually be more efficient with it.
Yep.
Now, like a lift is always going to be like in that like sweet spot, like 30, 60, usually 60 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever it is. Like you still have responsibilities, maybe practice or meetings and stuff like that. Like you're not going to get away from that. But programming or kind of like preparing ahead of time and like having conversations with people, like you should, after a certain amount of time in your career, be able to shrink that down because you don't have to do as much research. Like it's kind of instinctual. You know those things and you're kind of perfecting them in a way. So yeah, that harder mindset has to kind of like dissipate when it comes to like the things that you're already good at. It might be shifted to like a new skill set that you're not really that accustomed to. But I guess on that topic, like when did you kind of realize like that shift really started to happen? Like when were you like, hey, I got to start saying no. I don't really need to be here 14 hours a day. Like there's so many chunks in time. Like I have new priorities that may not necessarily take place of coaching, but they're equal. And like this is a career, this is a job, but I want to go like on vacation at some point. I want to go spend time with family. Like there are other things that are important that are once in a lifetime stuff that I can miss a fucking lift for.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I pretty much a majority of my career. I mean, I was always a yes man. And I think that helped accelerate my process. Like, hey, can you be there early to train this guy? Hey, can you be there to like I remember when I was the lead assistant. Well, there was an interim time where I was director of football, men's basketball, men's soccer, women's soccer, men's golf, women's golf, and I was living in my office right before that for 4 months, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we have these recruits coming in on Saturday at 7 a.m. and then on Sunday at like 4 p.m. and then there's this other group, and I'm there every day. I'm going down to basketball games, like I'm being present with everything, and it literally like." it drained me physically. But again, it helped me understand what I'm capable of handling. And then it helped me achieve a lot more out of my career. And I never started saying no. I just started saying yes to different things. Where I wish as a coach, when I was in the college realm, I would have had this shift earlier on. Because you know how it is, like you kind of guarding your desk a lot of times. Like, oh, we're waiting for this meeting, and you're already there at 5:30, 5 a.m. And then you're not leaving until like 7 p.m. And I just thought about all that time. And all that time I spent acquiring knowledge in between where I'm like, I have this bookshelf of all these books. And I just kept reading, 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 just kept attaining more knowledge, more knowledge, more knowledge. Like it would help me. But then I was like, I know I needed to just do more. And then once I got out of the college setting, I was like, why don't I just help more people? Like don't like I can do this. Like I can work online. And I had one client who I charged like $20 for when I started back in like 2016. And he was my first client. And then I didn't start taking like the online business seriously until like 23. And now I've allowed that to grow and it's just more supplemental income for me, my wife, my family. And I get to help more people. And I want a lot of more, especially people in the college strength conditioning industry. They're not going to erect a statue of you for all those hours that you put in, that you spent just guarding your desk. So you need to spend that time, building for you, building for your family. Like you have so much time to like train people online, especially with all those certifications, the credentials behind our name. Like there's no way that we should not be able to help more people. And I wish I would have learned that earlier, and I try to push more strength coaches for doing that. But just increasing the value of your time. That's the biggest thing. And I think a lot of people get trapped and think all they're worthy of is this salary from the school that they work at. And it's like, no, like you can make more money. Like you can go earn more for your family and help more people in the process. And then, hey, go start that business. You also lower your taxable income. You get an LLC, you have all these different write-offs, so you can save a ton on like paying for this laptop, paying for your phone bill. All these expenses are business expenses. So yeah, you'll have your W-2, which is great, steady income, but then you can start a business, increase the value of your time, and then you just get to help more people achieve everything that they want out of their bodies too.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. And yeah, I wish I would have realized that and kind of seen that shift as well earlier. And I think I had a couple points in time, like within my career, that I knew that was kind of coming and I could see the writing on the walls. And I think early in the career, I just kept beating my head against the same wall, like, oh, it should, I just need that one breakthrough, that one breakthrough. Like, it was, I know one of the first ones, but I like was naive to it, was finishing grad school in Maryland. My parents had moved back to California because my dad was still in the Marines. I parked my truck at my friend's house and put my stuff in a storage unit and flew back to California with two bags because I couldn't get a job. And I had already three internships, a master's degree, an undergraduate degree, and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh, I should be set. Like these kids come out of grad school and they're like, oh, I'm set. I went back there, started interning at San Diego State, like riding the rail. Like my parents would drop me off at the rail station and I would ride it from Oceanside down to San Diego and stay with my brother. And I was like, this is terrible. And then I applied to 164 places, only
Oh,
to go back to Maryland to a place I'd already interned before
hmm.
as a contracted, like part-time coach.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh yeah, we're doing it now. I wish someone would have been like, what are you doing?
yeah,
This, and then you think it kind of gets better and you're kind of looking for it. And eventually you kind of just have to reevaluate, like, where are you at? Like, where are you, is your time valuable? Are you like is this really, is the juice worth the squeeze for this career? But there's so many other coaching avenues. Did you like, not being a yes man, like where do you draw the line from saying like, oh, my time is being devalued. I'm guarding a desk. Like administrators don't understand, head coaches don't understand, like my boss doesn't get it. Like my time is more valuable doing something else because I don't know where if it's intrinsic, like where that comes from a coach, or if it's external factors mostly that drive it or it's maybe just it's just a young coach naivety thing that is really the reason why like you just got to keep going, and then you end up like getting paid nothing but giving everything, and then you're replaced the next in a week.
Yep. And I think it is just kind of just the way the industry is. It's just the way coaching is in general. You have to make connections with people. A lot of the jobs out there, like you said, you applied to what, 116 jobs?
164.
164, and same thing when I got let go. Well, I was like 43 jobs. And you'll see everything on Indeed and all these different postings, but like they're all filled. Like I don't even know why they even post those up there. It's like, and each prompt is different too. So it's like type this, type this. Oh my gosh, you guys are making this so difficult. And all those jobs are already filled by people who they like, hey, you got a guy? Oh, I got a guy. Here you go. And a lot of the jobs that I got was because it was like someone I knew before who was like a friend, a mentor. So I think I hate like I don't like politicking with like sports coaches. I'm just gonna do my job and I'm gonna be 100% honest of like what the athletes need. And I don't care if the coach likes that or not. I'm gonna give them my honest opinion with my expertise and my knowledge. But the one thing about college strength and conditioning is you do have to build a community to help you move to different places. So like reaching out to different people, just trying to pick people's brains, like following up and just reaching out and saying like, hey man, like thanks for putting that stuff out there. Appreciate you. Like this is great. And just building those connections with more people. And for me, the shift didn't happen until I actually got let go. And I was thankful I got to that job when I did, because my goal, I was like, I'm gonna be a director of college football strength conditioning at the FBS level. Like that was my goal. Like I wrote that down and it was like 2016 when I started as a GA, and then I got that by 2020. And that was my goal. I didn't have anything after that. And then I got let go and I was like, all right, is this what I'm gonna keep doing? And I was working at Cal. I did that for 6 months. I'm like, all right, is this what I'm gonna keep doing? It just didn't feel right. I just felt like I was just gonna go back in that circle again. And I'd already lost my mom when I was younger. My sister had cancer. And my dad's getting older, and I was like, what if I just keep chasing this and I'm never home and I never get to see them, and then one day that time runs out and then they're gone. And I was like, what was I doing? Why was I gone for so long? Because just chase these aspirations of, I think, getting caught up in the names and the titles, like I am the director. It's kind of like it's a big title, but it's like I think a lot of people they have to make their identity that title for it to be worth it. Like for not getting paid enough, for always moving, for not having time with the family, your identity has to shift to go along with that name. And I think a lot of coaches need to understand, like, hey, you're more than this. You do not bleed purple and blue and green or whatever. Like you bleed red like every other human, and you're gonna die one day. And they're not gonna make a statue over you. They won't. And so the most important thing is, doing things that help you feel amazing, providing for your family and making the world better. It doesn't have to be just college strength conditioning. You are more than just a college strength coach. But you do have to venture out a little bit. You have to try new things. Like that's the one thing. Like I've had a bunch of great mentors. But once I got out of college strength conditioning, I didn't really have any mentors. So I was like, well, I got to try new things because I got to keep learning. I always did Olympic weightlifting. I did that for 8 years. So, all right, I'm gonna do powerlifting. Try powerlifting. Had a great coach. I tried bodybuilding, and now I still do bodybuilding. And I've had coaches, done it myself, and I've learned a ton. And just always looking for more knowledge will help you get to that next level, not just looking at books and the latest strength training and what so and so is doing. Like, go get some mentors, go get some coaches, and and go try new things. Go accelerate that process, and it will help you transform into whatever you want to. Because you're trying new things, you're learning, you're developing, and then it will get better over time. Like, I don't know I didn't know how to run a business. I don't know how to do online, like set up payment systems and scheduling. It was like I've just started doing it, and I learned by doing it. I didn't know how to do nutrition. I had a precision nutrition certification I got in 2017. You know how much I use of that? Nothing. No, it taught me so much about nutrition, going and doing bodybuilding, and now I do it for other people online. So just I would say go and try new things and stop just saying yes to that one thing. Start saying yes to other things that can make you and your time more valuable so you can provide more for the world and more for your family.
Yeah, that's great advice. Like I think a lot of coaches early on are just so narrow focused in being involved in the profession and what it entails to like reach that like goal and aspiration like you talked about. Like if it's to be the FBS like head strength coach for football, like they're so focused on that, which is great, but the blinders are on and they don't really look for things outside of that. And then when you get in that position, even if you're the head, like, you better hire people that are a little bit different than you. And if you're not the head and you're one of like the five, then you have to find a niche because that's the whole reason like the coach wants you there. He doesn't want four more of him. Like he doesn't want copycats and clones. That's why like the best like five coaches, like someone is like maybe the GPS guy, someone's like even if it's position groups too, like someone is like the FRC guy, someone is like the return like post surgical guy. Like there's all these other things. And even outside of just strength conditioning, like having sales background or starting to learn about those things like nutrition online, like stuff that also benefits you, but indirectly benefits your coaching and what you bring back to your teams. And that's that's always a hard like concept sometimes in college because you try to pitch that to someone like, oh, I want to go do this as continuing education, but like that's not doesn't seem coaching related. It was like, yeah, but if I'm better and I'm a better person or I'm happier or I have more time off, like doesn't that come back and directly affect how I coach? And if I get some time for myself and I go train and I'm in a better space, that impacts the 300 athletes I work with. But if I'm grumpy and I'm pissed off and you're like burning me to like no end, how do you think that's going to impact everyone I touch base with that day?
Hmm. No,
Very, very different.
yeah, it makes a huge like if you don't provide for yourself, it makes it very difficult to provide for others. And I was talking with one of my online clients, and he loves David Goggins, and I'm sending voice memos in the morning like, who's gonna carry the boats? And then but I was talking about like what does carrying the boats look like for just like a modern man who's got a family. It's like you're prioritizing your recovery, like time to de-stress, time to meditate, be in a sauna, cold plunge, whatever it is, and just doing breath work, getting a great night's sleep, being there emotionally for your loved ones, for your wife, listening to her, taking in what she's saying, not giving her advice, but just being there and being a strong foundation. Same thing for your kids, not trying to all just give them all the answers, like let them figure it out on their own. Eating nutritious foods, make sure you're moving your body, enhancing your body's abilities, so then you can provide for others, and then enhancing your knowledge again, so you can provide for others. So that like that's what carrying the boats looks like for me. Like, and I think a lot of people get it twisted, like, I just gotta work as hard as I possibly can. It's like, no, like you said, you're burning the candle at all ends. Like you don't have the recovery. You're doing a lot of the wrong work. You're not just giving your body the nutrients it needs. You're not putting yourself in the environments you need to grow and flourish. So I think just shifting what you're saying yes to, and just having the right direction with that instead of like you said, always ground and pound, like teeth and metal, just going as hard as you can. Like that doesn't last.
Right. No, that's great advice too. Like shifting the mindset, even like working with different clientele and different athletes, like you can still kind of have that same like quote or motivation and like still look at people that are in a different service than you or like because David Goggins is one of one and like any of these other inspirational people that have gone through like super difficult things or selections or training or pro sports, whatever it is. Like it's it can still relate to you in a way, but you have to understand that there's context to it as well, and just change a little bit of the verbiage to apply to what you're doing. Like you can still have that kind of like carry the boats mentality, but it has to shift for you and apply to you in a way. It doesn't have to be exactly verbatim and what they're doing. It just has to apply to you. And like with that in mind and like talking about that shift in mindset and then having like I won't say an identity crisis, but like being tied to that title and then like that dream and aspiration that you were already at and achieved. But the weird thing is you didn't have something like past that or you just didn't set anything else. So like you're in this weird gray area and like, am I done? Did I get it? Like, is all these different shifts and then kind of learning new skills, trying new things and stuff maybe the best thing that kind of helped you get past like getting let go from that job and like shifting outside of college athletics? Or is there maybe something else too that like really helped you now in a different career path and like mentally as well?
Yeah, it was straight up that, like, being let go. I didn't have a game plan after that. I was like, just director, just be the director of college football strength conditioning. And I got that, and I'm thankful it happened at a younger age. Like I was 28. And I got there just by doing the hard, just like doing everything hard, everything yes. I don't care about my social life. I'll talk to my family later. I'll talk to my friends later. And it helped me accelerate very fast. Um, but yeah, once I got let go, I was like, man, like, is that easy? Is that easy to be let go? Like after all the time I put in, everything I've done and all the things I'm still doing, it was kind of hard. And I struggled after that. I'm like, who am I if like I'm not the director of strength and conditioning? Like what am I doing after that? And then it helped me shift. Like I told myself, like I'm not gonna be that guy that was like be the former whatever. But I did. I put it in my bio. I was like former director of college strength conditioning. And I think a lot of coaches get sucked into that instead of, doing new things. Like we tend to label ourselves of like, sorry, this dog's going crazy right now.
You're
Uh,
good.
they label themselves as the former, not like, no, like who are you now? Like what do you want to do? Like what is different? And this dog's going crazy. Um, but yeah, I had that shift and I was like, well, I can't put all my eggs in one basket ever again. Because when that's gone, like, who am I? And then I think a lot of coaches also kind of cling to that excitement along with the identity. Like being on the sidelines during game day, there ain't nothing more fun and exciting than that. It is awesome. But one day that's gone. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make my life exciting. Like I will be the exciting thing. And I think a lot of people kind of get like, what will people think? Like, who cares? Who cares? And like I said, we're gonna die one day. We're gonna die. Who cares? Go do the thing. Go do the thing that you say, like, you know what, I'm thinking about that. Maybe I should go do that. Like I always did Olympic weightlifting because that kind of coincided a lot with like college strength conditioning. I started doing bodybuilding. Not so much. Then it's like, oh, you're gonna go shirtless on stage, like, oh, you're gonna go wear like a Speedo and get a spray tan. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go fucking do it because I don't care. Like I want to go learn and try new things and have fun while doing it. But it was really just getting let go that caused that shift for me, and then not ever putting all my eggs into one basket again. I'm still always gonna be the best at whatever job I do. I'm gonna work my hardest, but I'm gonna have other things that are for me too. I'm not gonna put all my identity into my work. Because especially like when you're gonna have a family, like you're gonna have kids, you're gonna have a spouse, you're gonna have all these different things. Like you cannot just be tied to that one single identity. Because say you have a bad day or something goes wrong or you get fired, that identity is gone and you will struggle. And you will struggle for a long time. And I did too. But once I found out like, oh, I will be the exciting thing. I will be the thing that I strive to get better. It helped change a lot of things for me because my health was just declining. I was always hurt, herniated discs, like all these different things, just chasing this pipe dream. And then being let go was the best thing that actually ever did happen to me.
No, that's great. I mean, it's unfortunate that it happens in that way, and you hope that you can try to learn it before being let go or being in the situation where you kind of have to just end up dealing with it. But it's a lot of great advice for any of those young coaches or coaches that maybe have started to realize that they've invested everything into the title and being a coach or like trying to reach a certain level and like only ever do coaching. Like they're only training like to be a coach. They're only coaching. They're only working with online clients. That's all they talk about. That's all they do. And there's points in time, I think, in your career that it's necessary, maybe, like just to see if like, hey, do you really want to do this? Because I think that's in the very beginning, like when you're starting to intern or you're involved in GA and like you're really excited about it, it's something new to you. You need to really understand like what the time commitment is and how difficult it is and how saturated the business is. Because
Mhm.
if you're not willing to put in the work and kind of beat out some of the other people that just want to do it just because it seems cool, you're going to fizzle out and you're going to get surpassed by others. But at some point in time, like, hey, cool, you made it. Like you made it like through the gatekeepers. Like you're a coach. Like you need to have something else outside of that that really fires you up yourself. It gives you a little bit of break away from the weight room and from working with the athletes so you can recharge. Otherwise, you're just that's everything to you. And then if you do get let go, that's got to be soul crushing. So, I
Yeah.
mean, there's a hard balance though with it too, because like working with corporate like clientele and then working with your own athletes and individuals online, like being a former Division 1 like football strength coach at the FBS level, like that's a great marketing tool. But like you said, you don't want to live in the past, but you still want to be able to, in a way, leverage it the same way certifications, all the education, all the things that you've already done. How do you like, is that pretty easy, or do you still have to kind of tell yourself, like, hey, I'm using this as a non like gross marketing tool because there are clientele that are like, oh, that guy worked Division 1 football, like I want him as a coach versus
Mhm.
like really holding on to that old dream and that's all you end up talking about. Like, do you see yourself having to like make sure that you kind of reel that in when you start working with these clients?
No, like a lot of the people I work with, like I don't think it's really a second thought of them that I worked college football strength and conditioning because for most of my people are just like normal human beings. Like they're not athletes. I've trained a lot of first responders, firefighters, police officers, but a lot of it just people trying to like be healthier or like be a better mom, be a better dad. And it all starts with their health. And I just had to shift that mindset. I mean, no one wants to train like a football player. Like the average human, the average American does not want to train like a football player, nor do they need to. Like you see obesity rates, anxiety, depression, cancers, everything is just skyrocketing. And it just because, once you get to about age 28, 30, people just stop taking care of their bodies. They're not eating the good nutritious foods. They're consuming too much foods, too much alcohol, too much nicotine, not sleeping enough. And so I just help them win in life. Like I take the principles that I use for just college strength and conditioning and holding people accountable, but also giving them that support. I think I'm a lot nicer to my online clients than I would my old football players. I can't be as straightforward, but I still set the expectations. I still talk to them a lot. I basically kind of take the same culture and support that I did as a football strength and conditioning coach, and I apply that to the everyday human. Like, hey, like, why didn't you check in? Why aren't you responding to me? Hey, what's going on? Because I am in my client's face. I'm not like, hey, here's a 3-month program. Go have fun. See you after that. Like, no, like, hey, you're checking in. We're sending voice memo. I'm gonna call you on this day. What do you like? Why did you not do this? Why, like, what can we do to make it better? Because I see just the average, just the health of the average American is declining. You see the our life expectancy, it's dropping. Just from modern living. There's not one thing, it's just modern living. And I try to reshape that for people. And like what I thought was like doing the thing as hard as you can in football, it's like I said, carrying the boat. It's like, are you sleeping right? Are you meditating? Are you de-stressing? Are you making your life exciting? Are you the exciting person? You are the main character. Are you putting good things in your body? Not only good food, but good thoughts, good emotions. Are you in control of your emotions? Can you stay consistent? All these things I'm constantly checking off with my clients to make sure that they can transform their body. And I used to have like I was a football college strength and conditioning coach, but most people, the people I'm trying to market to and the people I'm trying to help, like they have no interest in being a football player. So it was weird. I kind of had to leave that title behind, and I think it was such a fun time of my life, and it taught me so much, and I met so many amazing people and got to work with so many awesome athletes who I still talk to, connect with, and whatnot. But I had to leave that title behind. Like I'm not going to be a college football director anymore. Like I'm Aaron Potoshnik. I help people transform their lives to be healthier so they can be better at their job, just be a better provider, mom, dad, husband, and just be a all around amazing human.
That's awesome. That's a great way to like kind of put a bow on that and just explain like how it is and how the goals have shifted and how working with those different clients have had to shift how you kind of speak with them. But like you said, the expectations and kind of the standards are there, but same message, but it's a different tone. It's a different goal set, but you're still like using similar modalities and stuff, but you're not grinding them away to like train like an athlete, but you're still holding them accountable and you're checking in and you're having those conversations and it's a global, like holistic view to it. But it's super interesting to kind of hear like you've let that like kind of background like fade away a little bit because to me, I guess maybe being as close as it is, or like the type of people that you'd end up working with, you'd feel like that as a background would be something that really pushes whether or not someone wants to like utilize you as a coach and like a client. But it's great for the people that are like, I don't really care. Like I want someone that knows what they're doing, is gonna like really help me like through these tough spots and help me achieve my goals. Like that's great. You worked with X team or you had this success, but like I don't want to do those sort of things. So it's interesting concept with it. And it also made me think too, like when it comes to online coaching and stuff, like there's a big difference between like just a program, like giving out a program and like actually having a coach where you're checking in and like you have a structured system. I'm sure that there's probably individuals that maybe didn't want to be pushed as hard, or maybe individuals that like don't want as much like hands-on stuff. Are you kind of like working with them and to maybe vet individuals to see if it's like a good fit as well? And like you've kind of maybe lost clients because it's like, hey, maybe this isn't what you're looking for. How do you work with that? Because it's when we had athletes before, it's like some of them aren't bought in, but
Mhm.
it's a little bit different concept when they're paying for the service. And at the same time, you don't want to necessarily work with, if you have 20 clients, you don't want to work with one that's a dud and that doesn't want to do anything. It's just like, hey, maybe this isn't the right fit for either of us. Does that happen for you as well?
Yeah, and when I started out, I used to. I was just trying to get clients and I thought I had to be like the nice guy and whatever they wanted. Okay, yeah, let's do that. And I after about a year of doing that, I didn't feel good and I didn't feel like I was putting the people I work with in the right direction. So now whatever they tell me, like I go through a long list of questionnaires about their life, their time commitments, their injuries, their health problems, their medications, their sleep, their family time, everything. And it's normally like a 2 hour call where I really get to understand them. And I just get everything to fit them and their life and their time commitments and what they can do. So it's like some people are like one of my buddies, he's an electrician and he goes and he works at 6 a.m. So he go trains at 4 a.m. Like, hey, like you were on time that morning. You had a great night's sleep. You went to bed at like 8. This is your full lift. Here you go. And then you were tossing and turning all night. You got home late, and you're gonna walk in there with your steel toe boots on and your kit. You're gonna get on the bench. You're gonna do 10 sets. You're gonna get the fuck out. You're not even gonna warm up. So I get to really fit their lives. And I used to, whatever someone told me, now I will straight up tell them based off the information they give me. I had a new client who he was like, I want to run a marathon and this is what I want to do. So I was like, hey, what's most important to you? What do you want to do? He's like, I want to run a marathon, then I want to lose some weight. I'm like, okay. We're gonna do that in reverse because he gave me his injury history. You had ACL meniscus 2 years ago, MCL meniscus, other side last year. I was like, your joints are literally saying, we cannot handle this, but you keep doing it and you keep getting hurt because running is just not the force of the ground, is force of the ground multiplied times your body weight. And so I was like, you need to lose 30 pounds before you even think about doing this. And he's like, damn, I needed someone to tell me that. And I was like, yes, you're paying me to do this. And so, and I've had some people who have kind of fallen off, and I'm like, hey, where are you? What's going on? And pe people go through hard times, but I want them to feel like they can lean on me and talk to me. And like, I commute an hour every day for work, so well, an hour just coming home. So I'm like, hey, I got time to call. I call my clients all the time just to see what they're doing. And even one of my clients where he fell off, kind of went radio silent. It was weird because he's like one of my best clients. And I have a 6 month contract. Hey, these are the payment dates, whatnot. And he sent me the payment without even like I had been trying to reach him for a month. And he just radio silent, but he still paid me. I was like, and I literally sent a message back. I'm like, dude, I am not accepting this. Like, even though we have a contract, I'm not accepting this. I don't feel right as a human. I have not helped you progress. Like we have not changed the program. I need you to talk to me. I don't care about this contract. I care about you and how you're feeling, and I don't want to feel like a slimy person who like, oh, just business, man. Fuck business. Like I'm in this to help people, and I'm gonna do what I feel is right. And I'm always gonna give people that support that they need. And also, if people don't want to, like I had a person who's like, I'm trying to them with their nutrition. And I always want to teach people. I'm trying to transfer knowledge. Everything I've accrued over the last 20 years, I need to transfer in the shortest amount of time. Like, I don't want to track my food. I was like, okay, then that's how we're gonna do it. Everything else is just a guess. Like, I can try to lift weights, but I don't get stronger unless I actually go do it. And I give them the education, hey, this is not an all the time thing. This is just like, hey, we're gonna do this for a window while you start to understand the calories you actually consume and where are your macros distributed and how it makes you feel, how it makes you function, how you sleep, how you provide for everyone in your life. And I was like, if you're not wanting to do this, then you're not wanting the understanding, and then I can't help. So I have had someone who I turned away. I'm like, okay, sorry, like I can't do this without you willing to do so. So I don't take on people anymore who I have to try and force or pull teeth to do. But I'm still always I still reach out to those people and I'm like, hey man, just hope you're doing well. And those people, like 2 years later, I had someone who's like, oh no, I just can't. And then they came back and now they're lights out. So it might just be the wrong time for them too. but still always feeling like I can be there for them. Where they're like, you know what, he does want to teach me. I think maybe he can't help me now, but he can help me down the road.
Yeah, that's a great point too. Like it might not be the right timing for everybody, but being a voice of reason and kind of like maybe saying the hard thing that no one wants to hear. Like
Mhm.
maybe it's just not a good fit, but a lot of times I think people want to do the right thing, but they need someone else to kind of like nudge them and like actually convince them to do it. And they're like, yeah, I knew that was what I was supposed to do, but I kind of just needed that. And I think a lot of people, especially when it comes to like training that haven't done it or have like some of these goals that they're uncertain of, they don't really want to jump into it alone. And they need someone, even if it's, I mean, if it's a training partner or if it's like an online coach or someone that's kind of hold them accountable and then just kind of even if it's the same program, just if it's coming from someone else, like you're invested in it a little bit more. So it's just, I don't know the psychology necessarily behind it, but it just makes sense. Um, when it comes to like this online remote coaching and things like that, like where would you say for someone that's really trying to get some information, maybe get it started. Where was the most important thing that you think that you needed to do to start this? Like, I know the LLC and kind of learning a bit about sales and some of that stuff, but like being in it for a couple of years now and like kind of having a little bit of traction with what you're doing now with clients and stuff. Where would you think you would have started at that might have accelerated you a little bit quicker for someone that wants to dip their toe in this?
Uh, Probably getting the right mentor. I haven't had anyone really like that. Like I work with a company that sets up like my automations and my funnels and all this stuff, but it's like it does not do the work for me in any way, shape, or form. But I would say the biggest thing to put your time into, and I hate saying this, but it does help was putting a lot more time into social media and not for scrolling's sake, but for community education, outreach sake. And it's great. Like I used to scroll on my phone, waste tons of time just staring at this little 8-inch screen before I stare at this 16-inch screen, before staring at a 40-inch screen, before staring at a 60-inch screen, staring at an 8-inch screen. Like if we're on these screens this much, you need to go make your time more valuable. Like it's just like your time is slipping away, and we don't even realize it. If you spend 4 hours on your phone every day, I think it was like eight. I did the math one day. It was like 8 years of your life or something like that. It's bonkers. It's insane. And I post twice a day on social media, just to like put my name out there. Hey, like I'm right here. Just to try to teach people, create a new thought for them, or just tell a story to help them feel, inspired or change their mindset. I would say the biggest thing is just start with social media. Be very consistent on there because it's free marketing. Like I've gotten all my clients through social media, and it wasn't like they responded to one post. It was never that. They just reached out one day because they have seen me consistently try to teach, educate, and put information out there. And they're like, you know what? I like this guy. I trust him. Let's do this. So put a lot into social media and not trying to just like get views and flashy, like just I put it into those three silos. Like I'm going to teach, try to inspire or tell a story. Like that's it. Those are my three, and I cycle through them every week. Um, and also setting up the business standpoint, like that was a lot of just trial and error. Like, oh, like how do I do an LLC? And just doing a lot of different searches. Like, oh, what do I use for online training? I use Team Builder when I was in college. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just use that because it's what I'm used to. I know there's a bunch of other training apps out there. There's like Train Heroic. I do Kahuna for my nutrition. You can do like MyFitnessPal. But just use those apps and simplify things. I spent too much time using Excel spreadsheets, and I spent way more time formatting the Excel spreadsheets than I did actually programming. So I was like, please get rid of Excel spreadsheets. I don't care like if you've used it forever, get an app that's simple, that has YouTube links that your clients can respond in, you can see right off the get-go. Like we're in the technological age. Like we can use the technology, everybody. So I'd say just a lot of trial and error. Posting a ton, and getting yourself out there, just being the organic, authentic you, not really caring about what anyone else thinks. Like I know it's like, oh, like I think a lot of college coaches have a hard time with that. Because we have this kind of stoicism about us, and it can only be this and perfect. But I used to spend like I swear all day. Like I'd get done working. I'd spend maybe like an hour to formulate this perfect post. And then I'd get like 200 views. And I'm like, gosh, even though 200 is still a lot of people, like you shouldn't make yourself feel bad for that. And like imagine going and speaking in front of 200 people, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, there's a lot of people." But I would make myself feel bad. And then as I've just posted more on social media and I'll put things in there and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, the things I spend the least time working on get get out to the most people because it's simple. It's so simple and just go with the like one message. Pick one thing and just talk about that one thing. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't talk about periodization and macro cycles and microcycles and mesocycles and this annual plan. Like that's too much. That's too much. Give people one thing. Talk about like this is the one exercise I do in this phase. And this is why. That's it. Pick one topic, explain that, find a new one. And I used to do one post a day or one post like every 2 days. Now I do one post a day. Now I do two posts a day. And I just get better at doing it. It's the same thing. It's like you're getting better at marketing. Imagine you're going to school for marketing. You spend 4 years getting that degree. Just think of this as your college degree. You got to spend time doing it to get better to grow the business.
Yeah, exactly. It's like anything else. You're going to get better with more trial and error and just like more time kind of committed to it. But consistency is really going to be one of the biggest factors when, I mean, we're just overflowing with different resources and different people trying to get that message out. And it, like you said, 200 people like viewing it, that's 200 potential clients or 200 speaking in front of 200 people that like that's a big crowd. So the reach that you have is still very big with social media.
Can I get one more thing in there? Sorry.
Yeah.
Fine. And this was the thing that really helped me. And it was also kind of just like recently too. It was like the guy who does my automation systems. I worked through AR Funnel and I did like a talk with the guy who runs the systems, Mike, Mike, Mike Crossan. And he's posting 6 times a day. And I got on this call with him and I'm like, wait, can I not post one more time? Do I not have any other thoughts up here that I can't do that? Like I can't spend maybe like, hey, I'm gonna do this in 10 minutes. Like whatever idea it is, send it out there. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. And then just talking with him, I was like, oh, I can do that. And I would say find people who are doing things at the level that you want to, and don't compare to what they're doing, but just follow what they're doing. And don't copy them, but use their frameworks as an example for how you can do it. That I'd say is very important, because that can accelerate a lot of the time getting good at marketing yourself and reaching other people. Because I tried for years, just like doing it on my own. And until I started getting ideas from other people and kind of seeing their framework, it started to help accelerate the process more. So get someone to try to emulate, not copy.
No, that's a great advice. It's a good way to do it. Like, and you're not going to start from 6 posts right away, like you said
Yeah,
too.
no,
Like
no, no.
you're gonna build into it. You're gonna get comfortable as you go along, and like you're gonna do it in a genuine way. And it's great to take inspiration from other people without just flat out copying it. But like you said, the framework and stuff that works, um, make it your own, and find a way that kind of gets you to the ultimate goal of what you want with your clients. And like what type of business you kind of want to run. And you can end up scaling that. If you're a college coach or you're working in a different sector and you want to give it a try, you don't have to like one client, like you said, you had one client for like years
Mhm.
and then like it's grown from there. Like that's the sooner you do it and the more you can kind of go through some of those like aches and pains of starting it out, the more the more comfortable you're going to get and you can figure out like where those difficult like speed bumps are going to be. So it's great advice and like obviously like automating those things and like making it worth your while by like taking cumbersome things off your plate and like outsourcing them. Like that's one thing. That's why I need to do that like with the podcast and stuff too. And I know it's my own crux by just doing it myself, but we'll figure out a different way to like get my time back in a way. Kind of shifting gears because you talked about it a couple times, and we've talked about it inadvertently, saying like, hey, as a coach, you need to really focus on yourself before you can kind of give back to others, and you really need to make sure that you're doing your due diligence to be prepared with your own health, your own fitness, and everything as well. You started doing Olympic weightlifting for like 8 years. You did some powerlifting, doing bodybuilding. Like how has that transition been? Like what's really kind of keeping you like enticed and like really motivated to stay in bodybuilding now after kind of doing some different strength sports? Is that what the focus is still currently?
Yeah, so I'm prepping for a physique show right now in May. And it's the one thing that's actually helped me grow my online business where okay, like I said, I got the precision nutrition certification and it cool, I passed the test, but it did not keep reinforcing that knowledge. Like I wasn't doing it. Like I got the little credentials, cool, but I wasn't doing it at a high level. But doing bodybuilding has taught me so much about nutrition, the human body, physiology, and all of these hormones and how it interacts with the food that we eat. We've all heard the term "you are what you eat." But we see obesity and cancers and depression, anxiety skyrocketing, and everyone's just sitting around like, yeah, I don't know why. And it's this is one thing. And I've really took a swan dive into this field, and it's helped me provide more knowledge and education for my clients because most of my people are overweight and they're needing to lose some and to get it in a way that is sustainable that fits their life to where you know after the time they're done working with me they can go do it on their own too from the principles the knowledge and support that I taught them. I loved every discipline that I've trained in. I loved Olympic weightlifting. I got up to like the national level and I thought I was like really cool. And then my fallacy was I started comparing to all these other weightlifters who are at the national level. I was like, damn, I got to start doing what they're doing. And then that's when I ended up herniating the disc in my back. Uh, Immense pain, struggled, and it's like, especially like you are the head strength and conditioning coach and you cannot strength. And it is a shot to my ego. I felt like I was a fraud. But it was also the greatest gift I could have ever been given because it taught me so much about injury, about rehabilitation, about how lifestyle habits change our body. And it's like I started focusing on the on-field rehab with all my football players. So I gained more experience, more knowledge. Like I was the rehab guy and I would take people through like kids who had like an ACL, like I'm still bringing them in the weight room, helping them with their rehab, hamstring strains, different our O linemen, different back pains and whatnot. I'd take them through different protocols to help them get out of that, to help them strengthen their trunks, help them strengthen their body. And that gave me more valuable knowledge to when that director job was open. They're like, oh, he's the guy who does a lot of this stuff. He's the guy who's programming for the team, who's doing all these things. And it made me more valuable. And then I just wanted to like do powerlifting because powerlifting, I was like, after I herniated this in my back, I was like, you know what? I haven't really gotten like really heavy before. And I was still able to like deadlift 515, which was like 10 pounds off my max. I'm not like hitting new maxes, but I'm still getting damn close to my strength, and it feels good. And I've just tried to learn by doing more. When I don't have a mentor, I'm always trying to find something new to do that I know jack shit about and just go mess up a lot and fail and then revisit the next time around. I'm like, oh, I can do this better this time because I messed this up the first time around. And I'm gonna keep doing that the rest of my life. Like that's kind of gonna be my rotation. Like I want to get into like I want to hike Mount Rainier. That was the thing I said that's I want to do this summer when I get done with all this bodybuilding stuff. So that's another thing I want to do. So I'm always going to keep finding new ways to grow and learn. And like I said, it's just like I want to make my life exciting. Like I used to be the guy who was drinking every single day, acting a fool because I was bored and I needed excitement. And there's just that shift in my life was like, oh, I am the exciting thing. I make my life exciting, and I don't need all these substances. I don't need the alcohol. I don't need anything to make my life exciting. Like I am my main character. And if I'm turning on the TV to watch my life, like, well, how's that gonna look? Like, damn, this guy's not doing anything. Like, he's just wasting away all his time. Versus, like, damn, he does a lot of cool stuff. And I want I'm trying to brainwash everyone. Like, hey, what's gonna define you this year? Like, what are you doing? And some of them, like, they just want to lose 10 pounds. Some people are like, hey, I want to do a marathon. I think more people need something to really define them. Because I think that's what a lot of people struggle with their anxiety, depressions, their comparisons. They feel like they're not enough because they look to these other people and what they're doing, and they just need to focus on them and what they truly want to do with the things that make them feel amazing.
Yeah, that's great advice. I mean, being more in control and kind of, like you said, being your own exciting main character, like all that stuff is important. And like you have to ask yourself those questions, I think, too. And I think a lot of people get stuck in that routine and that rut of just doing kind of the status quo or going to work, coming home, like all these sorts of things. And there isn't really anything necessarily exciting about it, but you can still spin it and you can have different hobbies. You can start to try new and exciting things and challenge yourself, but you really do have to think about it and kind of, if it's something crazy, you got to set a goal for it, or you have to write it down, or you have to like prepare for it in some sort of way, or take off work so you can go do those sort of things. But yeah, you need to make what you're doing exciting. Make yourself feel excited to do something because you're doing it. And it's great advice. And like obviously like the own training, it's a strength coach's curse, I think, is just a lot of experience and then just stupidity, like getting hurt and like just burning the bridge and that's a lot of that's how you learn. And unfortunately that knowledge sometimes is a brick to the head.
And that just like what you said right there with like the like strength coaches, like, oh, I must be strong. And so many people would be so much stronger if they just tried to lose some body fat. Because what happens to every strength power athlete out there? Got hurt, like injury, PR, injury comeback, because we spend so much time in this high intensity threshold thinking it's going to be the one thing that gets us stronger, but we forget all the principles and learning and all the foundations of building strength that we learned. We throw it all out the window like we're infallible. And I try to get everyone to do this. Everyone, I try to convince everyone like, hey, first half of the year, first 4 months, lose some body fat. Where it's like, okay, we're gonna do lots of tempos, lots of volume, and just try to like feel healthy. The summertime, wow, I can take my shirt off, I can look good, feel awesome, super confident. And in the summertime, just do whatever, enjoy the fruits of your labor, like go do some athletic stuff, just like go have fun. And then in the wintertime, everyone's inside eating calorie-dense foods. Great time to get strong. And then you cycle back over again. So you don't just stay in that high strength threshold and end up with tons of injuries and just keep trying to push that over and over and over again.
No, that's great. That's kind of taking that seasonal approach, like you know it's going to happen. And for general population, if like a lot of their goals, unless they're training for like an athletic event or something like maybe like a big hike or a marathon. I mean, even those two, you can still kind of spin it, but taking it in stride with like you're not going against the grain like a lot of times we would do with athletics, like giving a fall sport athlete like, hey, listen, your summer's gonna suck. If you don't follow this packet, you're screwed because we're coming back and we're hitting the ground running. Like there's no meet you where you're at. Like I'll see where the team is, but like we're playing a game before school starts. Like that's a different mentality. Like now working with clients, you're like, we all know they want to go to the beach. Like we all know they want to do these things, they want to look good. So like why not prepare them for those things if they're just trying to be fit and generally healthy and get better and feel more confident? Like you don't need to like say, hey, during the winter, I know you live in Montana, but you're gonna have to like, we're just running. We're just
Yeah.
gonna be outside. Is like they're not gonna
They're not gonna do that.
they're not gonna like that at all.
Did you ever have to make like the like here's your winter packet and then you just make it knowing no one's doing any of it?
Oh, I remember those things, and then I got I got good with it. It depends on the team. It depends on the
Yeah.
culture of the team and how bought in that head coach is. I think
Yeah.
later in my career, the biggest thing that helped me, if the coach was saying they were bought in, I would go have the conversation with them. Hey, it was like, this is what I'm going to do. What are your expectations when we come back? And then if they were super into it, like I'd put a bit more effort into it and same program, but how I would do the check-ins and how diligent I was to like make it points in time over that break to like talk to the athletes or like my end of the year, I wish I would have done this from the beginning. I sat down with all of them and I did this always was go through the program and I gave them a physical packet
Hmm.
because like I fine, you can do it digitally, but I want you to at least bring it back to me. I
Yeah.
want to
Check it
see
off.
it. I want to see it because you don't lose your phone every day. Like, why would you lose an 8.5 by 11 like sheet of paper, like a full stack?
Yeah.
You can't possibly lose that. Then I would read them a disclaimer. The last 4 years of like college athletics, I did this. I read a disclaimer. Hey, you, and I had it vetted by a friend of mine that was like, um, knew some like lawyer stuff or
Oh,
whatever.
really? Nice.
And I was like, I was like, you don't need to make it serious, but I was like, hey, I've read, you understand the packet, we've gone over it. Like you understand the expectations and the standards of returning this packet and completing it. And then I make them sign it. Like they signed that, and if they were gone already, they would digitally sign it and they would bring it back. And then if the coach was bought in, what I would do too, I said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to read this. I'm going to prep them. I'm giving them the packet. They have full access to me. They have full access to the weight room. They're going to sign this and agree to this. I'm telling you, as the head coach, if they don't bring this packet on this predetermined date that we've said, like they are not allowed in the weight room for 4 weeks."
Oh, wow.
And a couple coaches were like, burn them. I don't care.
Nice. Yeah.
And a couple of them were like, I don't know if we could do that. And I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, how bought in are you to this? Like, and some of them just didn't see it, and a lot of them were like, listen, this is they got to know that there's a responsibility. There's a commitment to being on this team. And if you're doing all this effort on the front end and you're not taking away anything from them, like this is the type of player I want on the team that's actually going to do this. And there's extenuating circumstances, and we can have those conversations individually. But for the most part, like it was crazy. And I got packets back that had is mostly some of the girls, but they would put labels in them. They would highlight them. They would do them in different colors.
Yeah.
All like some of the
You have
guys would do some
softball?
stuff too. I had
Softball?
softball at a couple places, yeah.
Yeah. Always my softball team was like tut, 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 tut.
It was awesome, and like I funneled through them, and I kept some of like the crazy ones that were like
Mhm.
really well done, and some of them really bought into the training, and like when they were
Yeah.
gone, they were so committed to what they were doing, and it showed when the team came back too. Um, and that is, I think that's one of the hardest things about like some of the lower level schools is how committed are you as an athlete to your development? Because if you really want to be successful, this is a year round, this is a 4 year kind of commitment to your development, and it's going to fluctuate during the seasons. But if you want to be your best, like on the field in your chosen sport, like you have to be somewhat committed
Hmm.
consistently over the whole year. And I'm gonna play into those things in the summer. I'm gonna play into those things in the winter break. But like if you play this sport in the winter, like you're not getting that fall and spring or the fall and summer like everybody else is. You have to be a little bit selfish in your preparation.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it was fun, but it's shifted now a little bit, kind of working with tactical.
Hmm.
So very, very different. And I'm sure the same thing for you working with individual clients, but like it's extrapolated and the seasons are different and the goals are different, but uh still coaching. So that's awesome. Awesome. Well, hey Aaron, like any good training session, we got to end the show with a finisher. So I got 4 quarters, 4 questions and we got overtime probably at the end. So you can go
All right.
rapid fire if you want to, but if there's anything you want to expand on, feel free to give full detail. But you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, first one, biggest influence in the strength and conditioning profession for you.
Uh, there's always these three people. And so I gotta do three. Um, I mean the first one, not strength and conditioning community, was just my dad. Allowing me to like go and because there's times I moved back home. There's times like I wasn't making any money and I couldn't afford anything, and he never tried to steer me in any direction. He just said, "You got it. I support you." And just always let me make my own mistakes. So that's the one thing my dad's number one. Number two is David Lang. He was my first strength coach I worked for at WSU when I was an intern. I was a young college student. I failed out of school, drinking every day, ended in Y, young, immature, didn't know what I wanted with life. And then I kind of had this like awakening where there's like I kind of had like a manic episode after drinking so much one day. And then I just snapped out of it and I was like, what am I doing in my life? I need to do these different things. So I got two internships, got a job, stayed busy. And so I'm going to interview for this internship at WSU. And I go, I don't know where I'm going. I find his office, finally get there. It's turning 4:01. And he's in his office writing stuff down. Doesn't even look up at me. It's like, hey, we're supposed to meet at 4 today, right? And I was like, oh yeah, Coach Lang, I'm sorry. I just didn't know where your office was. I'd look around, ask people, but I'm here now. I'm ready. Oh, so you didn't do your due diligence to find out where my office was? And I was like, no. He's like, I'll see you same time next week. You can close the door. Doesn't look at me at all. And I closed the door. I'm like, are you serious? 1 minute? And I'm like walking away. I'm like, damn, he's right. That was my fault. And that was kind of a shift. It's like anything in my life that goes wrong, it's my fault. And it's up to me to fix it. And he set me straight. He taught me so much. He pushed me, he challenged me. And he was the first like mentor I had in college strength conditioning. And he helped me so much. And then my third one is Blair Wagner. I worked with him at UW and I still talk to him pretty regularly. But he just his energy and who he is as a person, I was like, damn, like I want to be like that. Like very charismatic, like always looking on the positive side, but still like holding that standard, like not letting people say it's okay um for them not doing something, but giving them the support when they don't and helping guide them in the right way. So those are my three biggest mentors for in the strength and conditioning industry.
There you go. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely 3 great people that probably shaped your career and your life. So awesome ones. Hey, when you're not in the weight room, not coaching, not kind of getting ready for now bodybuilding shows and things like that, what are some of like your hobbies that you like to do that are kind of recharging for you lately?
Oh, nature, being in nature. That's the number one. Going on hikes, being in water. Water just resetting for me. I feel like whenever I get in it, get out, it's like every stress just washes over me, and we're 70% water, and so it's like I love being by it. I feel reset when I'm in it. Sometimes I'll do like cold plunge. I'll find a river or lake or whatnot. But just also being in nature, I spend so much time working and being on my phone and being on a laptop. And whenever I go on a hike, I just feel so refreshed. Like I live in Washington, so there's so many beautiful places here. And I don't care if it's summertime, like me and my wife, we've hiked in the snow, we've hiked in the rain, and just being out there, just getting away from these screens that we're on all the time, helps make such a big difference. So just being out in nature.
There you go. Hey, so if you weren't coaching, I know it's a little bit different than collegiate coaching, and that was kind of the goal. So I'm sure you've reshaped maybe that as a new goal. What do you think you might be doing if it wasn't even coaching related at all, like as a different profession?
Yeah, I would say probably maybe some in sales. That's something I've actually done before. I've worked in like financial services. I did door-to-door sales when I was in college. I moved down to Oregon end of my freshman year, and it's just like 100% commission base. And like go talk to people. Like just see how you can help them. But not in like a weird sleazy kind of way. Like I just like talking to people and like, okay, what do you actually need? Like I don't care about commissions or anything like that, but I just care about like, hey, what do you actually need? How can I educate you? And how can I help provide? And probably another one was also probably just like creating some sort of educational resources for people trying to change what they're doing, people trying to start a business. I tried to learn everything from scratch and I've had people like reach out to me and like ask me different questions and like I don't have any seminars or courses or anything like that, but I want to teach especially more young coaches because I feel like we always just put in so much time, so much hard time and not a lot of hard effective time to get where we need to go. So probably in some sort of educational resource for others or something in kind of like the sales commodity.
Awesome. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that statement too, as well. That we talked about it like till it's blue in the face about all the young coaching and that grinding. So effective ways to manage your time is important. Hey, so setting up, it might be different because I personally haven't done any bodybuilding shows and like did some bro splits way back in the day before I kind of got more involved in athletic performance like training. But if you're setting up an ideal training day for yourself, like what is playing over the speakers and like what is like maybe best post training meal if it's especially if it's a cheat meal, like where's the go-to?
Yeah. What is playing? Probably some metal or EDM is gonna be the music of choice. Maybe a little Celine Dion. Might switch up the vibes. Who knows? Uh, but I'm also kind of an old soul. Like when Spotify did the Wrapped, it's like my average age was 76. A lot of Frank Sinatra, a lot of Led Zeppelin. Like I'm kind of an old soul, so I do like that music as well. Um, Best post training. I mean, right now, just potatoes and beef. Go to. I could probably eat that meal every day the rest of my life. Just potatoes and beef.
Yeah, keep it simple. Hey, that
Yeah.
works. Hey, last one I got for you for overtime. Um, if you were to describe like coaching, like in the strength and conditioning profession in either one word, one phrase, or one quote, what does like strength and conditioning like mean to you in one of those things?
Mm. One word, one word, one word. I would say, I think value. Because I think a lot of the things coaches are kind of rated by. Like it's like Um, we don't get points or anything. Like we're not out there scoring anything like that. But it's like, what is the value that we bring? And the more, like we talked about this earlier, like how can you make your time more valuable? And it's not quantity over quantity. It's quality in quantity. And you will always get paid for the value you bring. And the goal should not be to make more money. The goal should be to help more people. That's one of my favorite quotes. I think it's Zig Ziglar. If you help enough people get what they want in life, you can have everything that you want in life. So the goal should always be, how can I help more people? How can I create more value for others? Because that's just like all of human civilization. It's kind of value based. And it's not saying that like, oh, you are more valuable than another person. Every human is valuable. But I think more people just need to tap into whatever that value is. Like, go be really good at something. And then once you master that, go be good at something else. I think a lot of people think also like, "Hey, I can only do this one. I can only do this one thing." It's like, no, go do underwater basket weaving and then go make really good puppy videos. I don't care. But just go do something to the highest level that you can physically do and create more value for other people with not only the physical, it's the psychological, it's the emotional, it's the social, it's the community. So go create more value for others. Go help more people, and you can have everything you want in life.
I love that. That's great. I mean, we talk about it, coaches, we feel like we're super valuable when it comes to like the performance team, and we like try to scream it from the top of our lungs, and we do so many things that end up making us valuable, but we're easily replaceable. So if you can make yourself feel valuable and like really show how much effort you put into it, like it doesn't matter the profession, it doesn't matter like what kind of venture you're working towards, as long as you're showing yourself value and you're putting every ounce of effort into it, like that's all that matters, and that's great. So awesome. Well, Coach, I appreciate all your time. Like I said, this was well worth the wait. I'm bummed that we didn't get to do it like we were still in the Mountain West and we were right across the street essentially, even though everything in California is minimum 3 hours away from each other.
Right.
I'm glad we were able to do this today. So for anybody that's got maybe follow-up questions for you, interested in kind of picking your brain on like business side of it, coaching, maybe transitioning out of college, or is interested in like your services as a client, where can they get a hold of you? Where can they follow along as well?
Yeah, probably my Instagram handle. It's at Aaron Potoshnik. That's why I put the most of my content, my education, my storytelling, and just reach out to me. I'm always happy to talk to other people, to help educate, give perspective, and just try to bridge more of that community in the strength and conditioning world, like you're doing here with this show. And this is so cool that you do this and you create that connect for a lot of coaches across the country, because it is a struggle for a lot of people, and it's difficult to make that. We spend so much time working and providing to our athletes or our clients or our family or whoever. So hats off to you, Nick, for doing this, for putting on the show, for also being super consistent with it. Like, I think a lot of people will go into ventures like this and then stop, but you stay very consistent, and you help a lot of people by doing this. So big hats off to you for what you're doing for the strength and conditioning community, what you're doing for all these people in our country. You're doing a great thing. So keep it up, brother.
Well, I appreciate it, man. It's a lot to take in, but I've enjoyed it. I love making these connections. I think the what coaches and different individuals that come on the show have been super insightful and have a great story that they can kind of share. And it's awesome to kind of now kind of collectively have that group that hopefully I can continue to maybe make connections with each other. And we're only a couple degrees of separation in the collegiate world or in the coaching world as well too. And some might get out, some might stay in, but I think a lot of the value and a lot of the different mindset that we all have, like that, those similarities are the things that we need to focus on. So it's great to have you on and be able to kind of have you join the community and share with the rest of the listeners and audience that we already have. So I appreciate your time, man. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day over there, and we'll talk soon, man. Thanks.
I will. Thanks, brother.
That's it for this episode of The Strength Game. Thank you again to this week's guest and to our sponsors. Be sure to connect and keep up with our guests at the links in the description below. Remember to subscribe to us on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast provider to stay up to date on all future episodes. Also, check us out on YouTube and CoachO'Brien.com, where you can find all the video versions of these episodes, as well as show notes, episode schedule, and much more. Comments, ratings, and reviews are always welcome and appreciated. Thanks again for tuning in, and be sure to join us next week for another great episode of The Strength Game.